Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to do something very simple. Not dramatic, not loud, not complicated. Just simple. Take a clear glass, fill it with clean water, add a small handful of salt. Stir it slowly. As you stir, do not rush. Let your breath become soft. Let your shoulders fall. Let the noise of the day settle. Now listen carefully. The power is not in the salt. The power is not in the water. The power is in awareness. For 3 days, place this glass in the exact spot where your mind feels most restless. For many, this is beside the bed, near the head where thoughts race at night. For some, it is near the doorway of the room where tension enters. For others, it is the corner where silence feels heavy. You already know the place. The exact spot is not chosen by logic. It is chosen by feeling. Walk slowly around your room tonight. Stand still in each corner. Notice where your breath tightens. Notice where your body feels slightly unsettled. That is the place. Put the glass there, and then let it be. Salt has long been a symbol of purification. Water has long been a symbol of flow. When they come together, they remind you of this truth: all heaviness can dissolve. But do not misunderstand this teaching. The glass does not remove your problems. It reveals them. It reflects them. It teaches you. For 3 nights before you sleep, sit quietly for 5 minutes near the glass. Do not ask for anything. Do not beg for change. Simply observe your breath. As you breathe in, say silently, I see. As you breathe out, say silently, I release. Thoughts will come. Let memories arise. Let them. Regret may whisper. Let it speak without answering. The salt water becomes a mirror of your inner state. If the water becomes cloudy, do not fear. If bubbles form, do not panic. The mind also becomes cloudy when it releases what it has held too long. Many people live with unseen tension, unspoken anger, quiet fear. These do not disappear because we ignore them. They settle in the corners of our rooms and the corners of our hearts. For 3 days, this practice invites them into the light. On the first night, you may simply feel calm. On the second night, you may feel emotional. On the third night, you may feel clarity. Or perhaps nothing dramatic will happen. That is also fine. Not every seed sprouts in front of your eyes. Some grow beneath the soil in silence. After 3 days, take the glass. Do not drink it. Do not keep it. Pour it into the earth or down the sink with gratitude. As you pour, say softly, "What is not mine to carry, I release." Then wash the glass. Understand this deeply. The ritual is not magic. It is mindfulness disguised as simplicity. When you intentionally place something in a space, your awareness begins to observe that space. When awareness enters a space, change begins. You are not cleansing the room. You are cleansing your attention. Many seek complicated solutions. They chase loud methods. They want instant transformation. But transformation comes from small, steady acts done with presence. Salt dissolves quietly. Water flows quietly. The awakened heart also moves quietly, but with sincerity. Do it not to control your life, but to understand it. Do it not because you are ready to see clearly. For 3 days, give yourself this gift of observation. You may discover that the exact spot in the room was never the true place of heaviness. The true place was within your own restless thinking. And once you see it gently, without judgment, it begins to loosen its grip. Peace does not come from pushing darkness away. Peace comes from sitting with it until it no longer frightens you. Tonight, prepare the glass. Choose the place. Sit in silence. The power is in awareness, not the object. The saltwater glass is not magical. Its true purpose is to create mindfulness. The transformation comes from conscious attention, not from the salt or water itself. Many people believe that power lives inside objects. They think certain materials hold special energy, that certain rituals carry hidden forces, that change comes from something outside themselves. But the deeper truth is far more subtle. The salt is ordinary. The water is ordinary. The glass is ordinary. What makes the act meaningful is the quality of awareness you bring to it. When you fill the glass and stir the salt, nothing mystical is happening in the physical sense. Salt dissolves because that is its nature. Water accepts because that is its nature. The transformation you seek does not begin in the glass, it begins in your attention. The moment you slow down enough to stir gently, to breathe consciously, to choose a place with sensitivity rather than habit, you are already shifting your inner state. Awareness is like light entering a dark room. The darkness does not fight the light. It simply disappears when seen clearly. In the same way, confusion, restlessness, and emotional heaviness begin to soften when you observe them without resistance. The glass becomes a reminder to look inward. Each time you see it, you remember to pause. Each pause interrupts the unconscious flow of worry and replaces it with presence. Most suffering grows in unconsciousness. Thoughts repeat because no one is watching them. Emotions tighten because no one is listening to them. But when you become the witness, when you sit quietly and say within yourself, "I see," something changes. You are no longer trapped inside the storm, you are observing the storm. The ritual works not because salt purifies energy, but because intention purifies perception. When intention is clear, the mind becomes steady. When the mind becomes steady, insight arises naturally. You begin to notice that what felt overwhelming was often just unexamined tension. What felt permanent was often just passing discomfort. The true cleansing is not happening in the room. It is happening in your awareness. The glass simply gives your mind a place to rest, a symbol to focus on, a gentle anchor in the present moment. And in that presence, clarity quietly unfolds. The exact spot is chosen by feeling. The place where the glass is kept should be where the mind feels restless or heavy. It is selected through awareness and sensitivity, not logic. The exact spot is not chosen by measurement, decoration, or convenience. It is chosen by sensitivity. Many people move through their rooms every day without truly feeling them. They sit, sleep, and walk without noticing how certain spaces make their breath heavier or their thoughts louder. But when you slow down and begin to feel rather than think, the room begins to speak. Stand quietly in the center of your space tonight. Do not rush to decide. Close your eyes for a moment and take a slow breath. Then walk gently to one corner. Pause there. Is your chest relaxed or slightly tight? Is your breathing smooth or shallow? Move to another spot. Stand near your bed. Stand near the door. Stand where the light fades or where shadows gather. Somewhere in that room you may feel a subtle restlessness. It may not be dramatic. It may simply feel less peaceful than the rest. That is the place. The mind leaves imprints. When you worry in bed night after night, that space begins to feel heavy. When you argue in a certain corner, tension lingers there. When you sit scrolling endlessly in one chair, agitation quietly collects. This is not superstition. It is memory. The body remembers. The mind remembers. Spaces hold emotional association. By placing the glass in that exact spot, you are not fixing the space. You are acknowledging it. You are saying, I see that something here feels unsettled. This simple act shifts you from avoidance to awareness. And awareness itself begins to soften what was rigid. Choosing the place through feeling also strengthens trust in your intuition. Most people ignore their subtle inner signals. They rely only on logic and dismiss quiet sensations. But wisdom often whispers. When you allow feeling to guide you, you reconnect with a deeper intelligence that does not shout but knows. The exact spot is symbolic. It represents the area of your life where unease lives. When you place the salt water there, you are placing mindfulness in the center of discomfort. Instead of pushing it away, you gently bring attention to it. And in that gentle attention, the space begins to feel lighter, not because something magical happened in the corner, but because you finally stopped ignoring what needed to be seen. 3 days of silent observation for 3 nights. Sit quietly near the glass and practice mindful breathing. This allows suppressed emotions, tension, and thoughts to surface gently. For 3 nights, you sit quietly near the glass. This is the heart of the practice, not the placing, not the pouring, the sitting. The willingness to be still with yourself without distraction. The first night may feel simple. You sit down, perhaps a little curious, perhaps a little doubtful. Your mind continues to move, planning tomorrow, replaying today. Do not fight it. The mind has been running all day. It will not stop just because you command it to. Instead, become the watcher. Feel the air entering your nose. Feel it leaving. Let your breath be natural. You are not trying to achieve peace. You are simply noticing what is already there. On the second night, something deeper may stir. When the body becomes still, emotions that were buried under activity begin to rise. You may suddenly remember something you said. You may feel regret, sadness, or even irritation. This is not failure. This is release. When you stop distracting yourself, the heart finally has space to speak. Let it speak. Do not analyze, do not judge. Just breathe and allow. On the third night, clarity often begins to appear. Not fireworks, not dramatic visions, just a gentle understanding. You may realize that much of your stress comes from thoughts about things that have not even happened. You may see how tightly you hold control. You may feel compassion for yourself where before there was criticism. This quiet seeing is powerful. The 3 days are important because repetition deepens awareness. 1 moment of silence can calm you temporarily. 3 consecutive nights begin to build a habit of observation. The mind starts to recognize stillness as safe. The body begins to relax more quickly. The space around the glass becomes associated with calm attention instead of restless thinking. During these nights, you are learning to sit with yourself without escape. No phone, conversation, no noise. Just breathe in awareness. This may feel uncomfortable at first because most people are not used to meeting themselves in silence. But in that silence, you discover something simple and profound. You are not your passing thoughts. You are the awareness that sees them. And once you know this, even in a small way, something inside you becomes steady. Release through intention. After 3 days, the water is discarded with gratitude and intention, symbolizing the release of mental and emotional burdens. After 3 days, you take the glass in your hands once more. By now, it is no longer just a glass. It has become a quiet companion to your awareness. It has sat in the place you chose. It has witnessed your stillness. It has reflected your intention. And now the final act is not dramatic, it is deliberate. You do not drink the water. You do not keep it as a sacred object. You release it. As you carry the glass to the sink or to the earth outside, walk slowly. Feel the weight of it in your hands. Understand that what you are about to pour away is symbolic. The water represents what you have been holding: restless thoughts, silent fears, unspoken tension. The salt represents what once felt solid, sharp, and heavy. Yet even salt dissolves when placed in water. Even what feels hard within you can soften. When you pour the water out, do not rush. Watch it flow. Notice how easily it leaves the glass. There is no struggle. There is no resistance. It simply moves downward and disappears from sight. As you watch, say quietly within yourself, "What is not mine to carry, I release." This sentence is important. Much of your suffering does not come from what happens, but from what you continue to hold long after it has passed. You replay conversations. You carry expectations that were never yours to fulfill. Releasing is not forgetting. It is choosing not to cling. After pouring the water away, wash the glass gently. This small act seals the intention. The glass returns to being ordinary. Nothing mystical remains. And this is the teaching: you do not need to depend on objects for peace. The object served its purpose. The awareness remains with you. Releasing with intention trains the mind to let go in daily life. When anger arises, you will remember the pouring. When disappointment lingers, you will remember how the water flowed without resistance. Letting go is not weakness. It is wisdom. The ritual ends, but the understanding continues. You learn that holding tightly creates heaviness and releasing creates space. And in that space, peace quietly grows. Inner cleansing, not outer ritual. The practice is a tool for self-reflection. The real cleansing happens within the mind and heart, teaching that peace comes from observing and accepting, not controlling. This practice is not about changing the air in the room. It is about changing the space within you. Many people believe that cleansing must happen outside, moving furniture, burning incense, repeating words, searching for signs. Yet the true weight we carry does not sit in corners of walls. It sits in corners of the mind. When you place the glass in the chosen spot, when you sit beside it for 3 nights, when you finally release the water, nothing supernatural has taken place. What has taken place is attention, and attention is transformative. The moment you begin observing your thoughts instead of being controlled by them, something shifts quietly but powerfully. Outer rituals are helpful only when they point inward. If you believe the salt alone is doing the work, you miss the lesson. The salt is a teacher of impermanence. It shows you that what appears solid can dissolve. The water is a teacher of flow. It shows you that movement is natural and resistance creates stagnation. But these lessons are meaningful only when reflected within your own heart. Inner cleansing begins when you stop running from discomfort. Instead of blaming the room, the energy, or unseen forces, you gently ask, "What within me feels unsettled?" That question opens a door. Through that door comes honesty. Perhaps you discover exhaustion, perhaps unexpressed emotion, perhaps fear of the future. Seeing it clearly is already a form of healing. The mind often creates complexity. It wants dramatic methods and immediate results. But peace grows from simplicity practiced consistently. Sitting quietly for 5 minutes may seem small, yet those 5 minutes interrupt the endless stream of unconscious thinking. They remind you that you can pause. And in that pause, clarity enters. True purification is not the removal of darkness, but the understanding of it. When you observe your fear without judgment, it loses its sharp edge. When you acknowledge your anger without feeding it, it softens. Awareness is like clear water washing dust from a surface gently, patiently, without force. The ritual ends, but the practice of mindfulness continues in every breath. You carry the real cleansing with you, not in a glass, but in your way of seeing. And when your seeing becomes clear, your world feels lighter, not because it changed, but because you did.